Shevarachim Gam Yachad. How good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity, proclaim the psalms. And I say that today with joy in my heart. I am honored to be here. I am uplifted by being here. And I'm absolutely astounded that I am here. I sat here this morning basking in the glow of this church assembly, and I kept asking myself, what am I doing here? What am I, a little Jewish guy who grew up in a Jewish neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York, who attended Jewish schools for elementary school and high school and college and rabbinic school and graduate school? What am I, the rabbi of an Orthodox synagogue, Orthodox being the most conservative, the most insular? What am I, a Jewish leader who has spent most of my life as a leader of the Jewish people, guiding them to care about their own? Was it not the great Hillel who said, if I am not for myself, what am I? Countless times I have urged my people, challenged my people to take care of our own. Support the Jews in Israel. Support the Jews in the Soviet Union. Support Ethiopian Jews. Support the Jews of Baltimore. There are only 15 million Jews in a world of 8 billion. If not for ourselves, who will be for us? That, for the most part, was how I conducted myself until your pastor, Dr. Terrace King, walked into my life. And nothing's been the same. It was a chance happening. We were talking, and we talked, and I realized this was no chance happening. This is exactly what happened in the Bible when we're told in the book of Genesis. And a man found Joseph, who was wandering in the field, and asked him, what do you seek? And Joseph said, I seek my brothers. With Reverend Terrace King, I discovered there are no chance encounters. I have found a brother. Thank God. He shared his vision with me. And all of a sudden, Ashburton and Forest Park and Sandtown and Mondawmin were no longer just names in the newspapers. Baltimore Sun, page 2, October 17th. These were the 3 headline articles. Gun Trace Task Force probe begins. Attempt to rob agents failed. Bullets don't have a name, 9 shot in a day. That, to me, was what Baltimore is. Reverend Terrace King taught me what Baltimore can be. Suddenly I had to accept the reality that the same Hillel who taught, if not for myself, who will be, also then taught, if I am only for myself, then what am I? Yes. All right. A vision for a better Baltimore involves more than just the people of Baltimore City. It also needs to involve people from Baltimore County. When the riots after Freddie Gray's death broke out, friends called me from all over, watching the news, seeing Baltimore in flames. They were concerned if I was okay. They didn't know that was taking place in Baltimore City. And I lived in the capital. And they're not the only ones. There are people out there who think that all of Baltimore's problems can be solved by cutting off bus service to White Marsh Mall. And they're not the only ones. The weekend of the civil unrest here in Baltimore, I taught my bar and bat mitzvah class, and I asked all the children there if they knew where Sandtown was. Not one knew. Not one had ever heard of it. This despite the fact that many of their grandparents grew up in the area. And this despite the fact that it's only 6 miles away, closer than Towson Mall, and they all knew where that is. I didn't blame them. I blamed myself. I'm their rabbi, and I'm their teacher. And to quote Eldridge Cleaver, if you're not part of the solution, hey. Wow. Bible tells us of God warning Abraham that he's going to destroy the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah because of their wickedness. That's right. Abraham tries to save the city. He cries out to God, perhaps there are 50 righteous people in the city. The question arises that had there been 50 righteous people in the city, wouldn't Abraham have known of them? A man of his stature. The answer to this question was given by a Hasidic master who said perhaps there were 50 righteous people, but they weren't betoch ha'ir. They weren't in the midst of the city. They weren't involved in making the city a better place to live. They were never heard from. Such a city was worthy of destruction. There were 50 good people, but they weren't in the city. You know where they were? In the county. They were in the county. Reverend Terrace King has brought me into the city. Draw close to him has taught me without him even knowing it an important lesson. He taught me that life is not fair. Look at him and look at me. Meet his little Jewish 5'5", and he a towering. It's not fair. But that's not the only thing I've learned from him about life not being fair. I also learned that 15 Baltimore neighborhoods had lower life expectations than North Korea. Or that 2 babies born the same day in Baltimore, one in Roland Park and one in downtown Seton Hall. The Roland Park baby will likely live to age 84, but the Seton Hall baby will die at age 65, and that's not fair. Let me tell you what else is not fair. It's not fair that when your pastor meets with the head of Sinai Hospital, he's told that when you leave the hospital and drive down Belvedere, as you arrive at Northern Parkway, if you take a right turn into the Jewish neighborhood, the chances are you will live 17 years longer than if you take a left turn. My God. That's not fair. Yes, sir. Your children are entitled to the same length of days as my children. Yes, we can't do much about how tall we are, but we can do a lot about how tall we stand. Yes, make the difference. But you and I know we're not always together. The Baltimore Sun conducted a survey which showed the 2 groups in Maryland that have the highest rates of hate crimes perpetrated against them are blacks and Jews. And how sad that is. But there's something even sadder. And it hurts me to say this. But oftentimes, there are many blacks and many Jews who hate each other. That's right. And I ask you, have we not all one Father?
Yes, sir.
Hath not one God created us? Why do we build churches in one man against his brother? By profaning the covenant of our fathers.
Talk good, Rabbi.
Pastor Terrace King forced me to ask that of myself. We have to walk shoulder to shoulder, even if we don't see eye to eye.
Right.
Even amidst adversity, there can be unity. We need each other.
Yes, yes.
We have so much to learn from each other. 2 weeks ago, Saturday, while sitting in the synagogue, word arrived of the killing of 11 Jewish worshipers in a synagogue in Pittsburgh. I sat in my chair, crushed, devastated. I knew not what to say. And for some reason that I'll never know, the words from Jeremiah rang out in my mind. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician? Why then is there no healing for my people? Those words are the age-old cry of a people oppressed. The way I learned them as a child, Jeremiah raised the question, but gave no answer. But your people have taught me there is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole.
Yes, sir.
There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul.
Yes, sir.
It was another Reverend King, Reverend Martin Luther King, who said, darkness cannot drive out darkness.
That's right.
Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. I have decided, he said, to stick to love. Hate is too great a burden to bear.
Yes.
And I'm here today to tell you that I have decided to stick to love.
Yeah.
And others along with me, in the concluding words of Hillel, if not now, when? Together once again, we can echo the words of the psalmist. How good and beautiful it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. And let us say, Amen.